Now, according to a recent study on property trends, young people account for 36% of first-time homeowners. We're going to unpack the story now by Grant Smee. He's Managing Director with Only Realty. He joins us now via our video line. Grant, it's a great development. It's wonderful to see that more and more homeowners are young people, and that these young people are not, so-called paying off someone else's bond by renting for many, many years.
Yeah, morning, and yeah, absolutely. It's quite an exciting space to be in the property market at the moment. A lot of young buyers realizing there's a massive opportunity to take advantage of the lower interest rates, as well as the fact that there's a lot of property on the market at the moment. So yeah, young homeowners are moving into the market, and the average age of the homeowner has substantially decreased over the last year and a half.
So Grant, give us a sense of where we were a year and a half ago in terms of the average age of a first-time homeowner and where we are now.
Yes, so it's a lot older than people expect. The average home buyer was about between 38 and 40 years old. That's moved substantially down to about 35 years old, the average age of a first-time buyer. So although it's a lot older than people expect, it has moved dramatically over the last 18 months.
Yeah. So Grant, the trend in terms of first-time homeowners now accounting for 36% of the market, it's fueled by low interest rates. Of course, there are attractive prices in terms of homes that are on the market. But what are some of the other things that are opening up the market for first-time buyers in this age category?
So I think the very first thing to realize is that this new sort of Zoom culture that we're going through is allowing people to work from home more often. And that's also allowing people to move into areas that they previously wouldn't have because of the commute. So there's semigration happening where a lot of people are moving from economic centers outward. And it's not only semigration away from, for example, Joburg to the coastal regions, but it's semigration from high dense areas into spaces where there's maybe more lifestyle, more space, to allow them to have a bit of a better lifestyle when they aren't working. So there's this movement away from the traditional high density areas into low density areas for lifestyle reasons, because they're no longer commuting.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of perhaps what is preventing more young people from getting into the market, do you still need quite a lot of liquidity if you're getting into the market for the first time? Or is there a cap on, for example, the money that you need up to a certain amount, whether a house is up to R1 million, for example?
Yeah. So look, transfer duty is only applicable so transfer duty is applicable only for properties over R1 million. Yeah. But the transfer duty for properties between 1 and 1.5 million isn't actually that much. So the exciting thing at the moment is the banks have also been lending sort of close to 100%. So you don't necessarily need the big deposits that you did need in the past. And there's also incentives when you buy through developers, for example, where they're able to, or you buy directly from developers, and there aren't any transfer duties. And some of those developers include transfer costs, which are the attorney fees attached to a purchase within the price of the property. So you're not incurring those costs. So there's quite a lot of incentive at the moment for first-time buyers to get into the market, and particularly into newer properties that where it's developer stock.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the good news side of the story. More young people are becoming first-time homeowners. The flip side of the coin is that rental stock is now taking a beating.
Yeah, so I think the problem at the moment is that interest rates are extremely low. Therefore, renters are now looking at their options, saying, well, I can either rent and like you said earlier, pay off somebody's bond, or I can move into a space where for the same cost or even lower, I can actually own my property. So there's a big movement away from rental stock into buyer stock. There's also a lot of properties that are available in the rental market because people have made two decisions: either buy property or consolidate. So move in together, kids moving in with their parents moving in with their kids, families moving in together. So there's a lot more stock on the market, particularly in Gauteng and the Western Cape. We're seeing stock levels at a high, and therefore a massive amount of pressure on the rental that is being asked. So rentals have come down substantially in a lot of those areas. So you're sitting with high vacancy rates and low rentals, and that's putting massive pressure on landlords, and therefore putting them a lot of landlords into a distressed situation, because they hadn't catered for this type of situation, which is obviously extremely unique and you know, something that was never expected.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of landlords that are under pressure, a lot of property available. So if you are renting and you're not able to buy, you can actually be really picky in terms of where you want to live, and also negotiate on the rental level that's being requested.
Yeah, so it's a buyer's market, whichever way you look at it. Grant Smee, thanks very much for your time this morning on the AM Report. Thanks for giving us a bit of a good news story there. 36% of first-time homeowners are indeed young people.